No, it's not. So first of all, and I have had my objections to the job that Karine Jean-Pierre did, but she worked in politics for 21 years, 5 presidential campaigns, and worked in 2 administrations.
Earning a hefty 6-figure salary, she is not just the face of the president's second term, she's also the voice promising to shake up how the White House communicates.
Buckle up, because this latest political drama is setting social media ablaze. We've got politics, TV personalities, and a fierce battle of opinions, and it all centers around one history-making moment. Imagine this. A confident, sharp, and record-breaking press secretary steps into the White House briefing room, sets down her notes, and delivers a performance that gets everyone talking. You think this would be a moment of celebration, right? Well, not so fast. Instead of applause, The View's hosts had a completely different reaction. One that's now dividing the internet and fueling one of the biggest controversies in media right now. At just 27 years old, Karoline Leavitt has made history.
Speaking of Donald Trump, I was stunned and amazed by his new White House spokeswoman today. She's actually the youngest ever in that job.
So, here's sizable podiums in the world. But rather than celebrating her achievement, The View's co-hosts, particularly Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar, had some very pointed remarks. Remarks that are now being called outrageous, unfair, and even sexist. During their show, Joy Behar made a remark that many saw as crossing a line, a comment suggesting that Leavitt's qualifications didn't matter and that she was only in her position because of her looks. Ouch. The backlash was immediate. Social media erupted in outrage, with critics calling the comment sexist, degrading.
She's just 27 years old, but boy, was she giving it to the Trump haters in her first White House briefing.
Second, the criticism wasn't just about Behar's words. It was about what they implied, that a young, accomplished woman in politics still has to prove her worth beyond appearances. This controversy isn't just about one comment on daytime TV. Leavitt's appointment is part of a larger political shift. The Trump administration has been strategically appealing to younger, non-traditional audiences, and Leavitt's modern social media savvy approach is clearly a deliberate move. Critics argue that this is a distraction from more substantial policy issues. Supporters, however, believe it's a necessary evolution in political communication, meeting people where they are on platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Regardless of where you stand, one thing is certain. Karoline Leavitt is shaking up the White House press game, and not everyone is happy about it. A key argument in Leavitt's defense, her extensive political background. Before stepping into the role...
Isn't it rich that The View is saying she got the job based on looks when DEI is all about based on looks?
Ouch. High-profile conservative leader, a seasoned media strategist, experienced in handling high-pressure political messaging, yet much of the criticism against her has ignored her actual qualifications and experience, focusing instead on her age, gender, and even appearance. As this controversy unfolds, the internet remains divided. Some believe The View's comments were misogynistic and dismissive. Others argue Leavitt is simply facing the same scrutiny. Every press secretary does one thing's for sure. Karoline Leavitt's tenure is often...
Bang, Rowan, I couldn't do that at 27. No nonsense, straight to the point, courage, detail.
And then... the political game. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Stay tuned for more updates as this political drama unfolds. Buckle up, because this political drama just hit another level. What started as a historic milestone has now spiraled into a full-blown media firestorm. We're talking about Karoline Leavitt, the youngest White House press secretary in U.S. history, who should be celebrating a groundbreaking achievement. But instead, she's at the center of a heated debate thanks to some harsh and controversial remarks from the hosts of The View. Does Karoline Leavitt deserve the backlash? Let's break it down. For those who don't know, Leavitt isn't just some random hire. Her resume speaks for itself. Former assistant press secretary in the first Trump administration, national press secretary for Trump's 2020...
Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here. Oh, yeah. Let me explain something to you.
Critics trying to dismiss her credentials are either misinformed or deliberately ignoring the facts. Love her or hate her, she's put in the work to earn this position. Yet when Leavitt stepped up for her first official press briefing, instead of being judged on her performance, she was immediately targeted by some of the biggest voices in media. Here's where things get even messier. Some insiders believe that The View intentionally leaned into the controversy, knowing it would drive up ratings and engagement. Think about it. Leavitt's. The White House handles media access. Independent journalists, podcasters, and influencers will now have a seat in the press room. More accessibility for non-traditional media voices, shaking up decades of old norms. This major shift sent shockwaves through the industry. Supporters called it a long overdue change, giving more diverse voices a platform. Critics, including The View, were far more skeptical. Bob Woodward versus Kim Kardashian. Joy Bihar's sarcastic take, Joy.
Without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table.
Media influence was reignited. Traditional media figures felt threatened, and their resistance to change became clear. But isn't that exactly the point? Lit's goal seems to be disrupting the status quo, and whether you love or hate it, she's already making waves. The backlash against Lit isn't just about her qualifications or policies. It's part of a bigger cultural and political battle. Is this the start of a media revolution or a dangerous shift away from credible journalism? Did The View cross the line, or is this just part of the political game? Will Lit thrive under pressure?
Karoline Leavitt is the press secretary at the White House, doing a great job. Such a great job that the ladies of The View feel the green monster coming upon them.
Drop your thoughts in the comments. Stay tuned. This political drama is only getting started. The drama surrounding Karoline Leavitt, the youngest White House press secretary in U.S. history, is far from over. What should have been a historic milestone has quickly turned into one of the most heated debates in political media. Her first White House press briefing was met with intense criticism, not from political opponents, but from an unlikely source, the hosts of The View. The remarks made by Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg have set off a national debate about media bias, sexism, and political double standards. But this isn't just another TV controversy. It has sparked larger conversations about political power, media influence, and the future of White House communications. Let's break down the latest developments and why this story is far from over. Trump's reaction: is this part of a bigger smear campaign? As the backlash against The View grew, speculation about how Donald Trump would respond began spreading like wildfire. Some insiders claim Trump...
But even factoring in that she's a nice-looking lady, I love that the libs' attacks on conservatives right now are that we're hot and cool.
And one thing is clear: Trump doesn't take criticism lightly. And if he decides to weigh in, this story could escalate even further. Meanwhile, Karoline Leavitt herself has remained composed. In post-briefing interviews, she has focused on her plans for the press office rather than engaging in media feuds. She has emphasized a new approach to engaging with the public, especially through digital platforms. But behind the scenes, some sources claim Lit is privately frustrated with the personal nature of the attacks. Others say she's using the backlash as motivation to prove her critics wrong. Regardless of the truth, one thing is clear: she's not backing down. Joy Bihar's remarks about Lit have triggered a much bigger conversation.
Karoline Leavitt isn't just making headlines, she's also rewriting history. At 27, the New Hampshire native has become the youngest White House press secretary ever.
But let's not pretend.
Social media user put it bluntly: so much for women supporting women. Yes, it only counts if you agree with their politics. On the other side, defenders of The View argue Bihar and Goldberg were simply expressing their opinions as any political commentators would. Their critiques should be viewed as political commentary, not personal attacks. But this debate goes. Historic appointment was already making headlines. The timing of The View's remarks...
Really don't like this woman. She's a good communicator. And so Joy Behar just offered her analysis on why Leavitt was picked for the role.
Controversy may have boosted their viewership. It could also damage their credibility long-term. Whoopi Goldberg, never one to shy away from controversy, took a different but equally cutting angle. Responding to Lit's promise of no wokeness in the White House, Goldberg delivered a passionate monologue about the struggles women and minorities have faced to gain political power. Her argument: Lit's success wouldn't even be possible without the very